Two twin sisters, born together, yet divided by pride and love. One finds joy in receiving, the other in giving. But a single act of kindness on a rainy day changes everything, transforming jealousy into compassion and comfort into courage. As a little homeless girl enters their lives, both sisters learn the truth that no one teaches, that real happiness isn't found in what we keep, but in what we give away. This is not just a story, it's a journey through the human heart, where every tear becomes a lesson, every smile a rebirth, and every act of kindness a light that never fades. The sun rose gently over the quiet little town, painting the sky in shades of soft gold and peach. Inside a cozy house filled with laughter and the smell of pancakes, two sisters prepared for their special day, their 12th birthday. They were twins, identical in every feature yet miles apart in spirit. Lila, the kind one, moved with a calm grace that made everyone around her feel warm and safe. Mia, her twin, was bold and radiant, her energy filling every corner of the room. While Lila believed that happiness came from giving, Mia believed it came from having. Their mother entered the room with two neatly wrapped boxes. The twins exchanged excited glances, the moment every child waits for. Lila opened her box slowly and found a delicate silver bracelet inside, with a small heart pendant that shimmered softly in the light. Mia tore the paper off hers impatiently, revealing a brand-new music player, red, shiny, and just what she had wanted for months. Their mother smiled as she said, "Remember, my girls, gifts are special not because of their price, but because of what they mean." Lila nodded thoughtfully, but Mia was already lost in the excitement of testing her new gadget. It was one of those mornings that felt perfect, light, laughter, and love all blending together. But sometimes, perfection hides a small moment waiting to test what we truly value. After breakfast, the twins decided to visit the park nearby. Lila tied her pink scarf loosely around her neck, while Mia slipped her headphones in and let the music guide her confident walk. The air was cool and carried the sound of children playing, balloons swaying in the breeze, and mothers chatting under the trees. Lila sat quietly on a bench, watching the children play tag and swing high into the blue sky. Her heart was full, yet her eyes wandered, searching for something undefined. That's when she noticed her, a small girl sitting alone under the shade of an old oak tree. Her clothes were worn, her feet bare, and her little hands clutched a half-torn teddy bear. There was a distant look in her eyes, a kind of longing that words couldn't describe. The girl's gaze followed the other children as they laughed and played with their toys and snacks, but she remained still, invisible, unnoticed, forgotten. Lila felt something stir deep inside her, that quiet pull of empathy that makes you see beyond yourself. Without a word, she walked toward the girl and knelt down beside her. "Hi," she said softly. "I'm Lila. What's your name?" The girl hesitated, then whispered, "Sia." Her voice was fragile, like a leaf trembling in the wind. "Do you like birthdays?" Lila asked. The little girl's eyes dimmed as she answered, "I never had one." Those 4 words hit Lila like a wave. Never had one. She looked down at her wrist, at the shiny new bracelet that had felt so special just hours ago. Her fingers brushed against the small heart charm. Without thinking, she unclasped it and held it out to Sia. "Hey," she said gently. "Now you do. This is your first birthday gift." For a moment, Sia just stayed, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Then her eyes filled with tears. Her lips trembled, and she hugged Lila tightly, whispering, "Thank you." It was a kind of thank you that came not from manners, but from the deepest part of a grateful heart. Lila smiled, feeling something warm spread through her chest, a feeling stronger than any gift she could ever receive. A few steps away, Mia stood frozen, her music player silent now. She had seen everything. Her sister's act, the homeless girl's tears, the bracelet shining softly in her hands. But instead of admiration, a strange confusion settled inside her. Part of her wanted to understand why Lila would give away her only present. Another part, the proud one, called it foolish. Why would she do that? Mia whispered under her breath. She just gave away her gift for nothing. But deep inside, she knew it wasn't for nothing. She just didn't want to admit it. That night, the twins sat together on their bed. The moonlight slipped through the curtains, painting silver lines on the floor. Lila looked peaceful, her eyes dreamy, her heart light. Mia, on the other hand, kept tossing and turning, the image of the little girl's smile stuck in her mind. She couldn't stop replaying that moment. The way Sia had hugged Lila, the way her eyes had sparkled with pure joy. It was a kind of happiness Mia had never felt before, not even when she got the gift she wanted most. The human heart has a strange way of learning. Sometimes it takes someone else's kindness to expose our own emptiness. That night, Mia realized that Lila's quiet nature wasn't weakness. It was strength. The strength to care without expecting anything back. The strength to see beauty where others saw brokenness. And the strength to give when others only wanted to receive. Lila's small act had planted a seed in Mia's heart, though she didn't know it yet. A seed of reflection. A seed that would grow into something much bigger in the days to come. As the night deepened and the world outside fell silent, Lila drifted into sleep with a smile, while Mia stared at the ceiling, her thoughts louder than any music she had ever played. In the quiet of that shared room, two hearts beat side by side, one content from giving, the other restless from realizing. And though the world outside remained unchanged, something inside those twins had already begun to shift. Because true happiness doesn't come from what we hold in our hands. It comes from what we share from our hearts. And that night, for the first time, Mia began to understand that maybe, just maybe, the greatest gift isn't the one you keep, but the one you give away. The morning light filtered gently through the curtains, and the room smelled faintly of lavender and pancakes again. But this morning felt different. Lila woke up smiling, her heart still glowing with the memory of Sia's tearful hug. She touched her wrist instinctively, forgetting for a moment that the bracelet was gone. Then she smiled again, remembering why. For her, that little act wasn't a loss. It was a gift to herself, too, a reminder that kindness fills the spaces that material things cannot. Across the room, Mia stirred in her bed, her expression blank, her music player lying untouched beside her pillow. The melody that usually energized her now felt strangely hollow. She turned to look at Lila, who was humming softly as she tied her hair. "You're in a good mood," Mia said, half curious, half irritated. "You gave away your only gift, remember." Lila turned, her smile soft but certain. "Yes," she said, and it felt beautiful. Mia frowned, sitting up. "Beautiful? You mean foolish. That bracelet was meant for you. It was special." Lila's eyes glimmered. "It still is, just not in the way you think." Mia shook her head. "I don't get you sometimes. You could have at least asked Mom before giving it away. What if she gets upset?" Lila's voice remained calm. "Mom taught us that gifts matter because of what we do with them. I did something with mine." That simple answer disarmed Mia completely. She wanted to argue more, but the conviction in Lila's tone stopped her. So she just muttered something under her breath and left the room, the confusion in her chest slowly twisting into irritation. At school, the twins were inseparable as always, or at least they had been, but now there was something new between them. An invisible distance. Lila spent her lunch break helping a new girl find her classroom, while Mia sat with her usual friends, trying to laugh but finding it strangely difficult. Her mind kept drifting back to the park, to that homeless girl's smile. She didn't want to admit it, but a quiet ache had started to grow inside her, an ache she couldn't explain or silence. Later that day, when they walked home, Mia noticed something unusual. Lila had stopped near the park again. She was looking around, her eyes scanning the trees as if searching for someone. "What are you doing?" Mia asked, crossing her arms. "I just wanted to see if Sia was here," Lila replied softly. "I thought maybe I could bring her some food tomorrow." Mia exhaled sharply. "Seriously, Lila? You don't even know her. She's just some girl from the street. Why are you so attached?" Lila smiled gently. "Because no one else is. Sometimes people need someone to notice them, even once." Mia rolled her eyes, but her heart stung a little at her sister's words. There was a quiet truth in them, a truth she wasn't ready to face yet. That evening, when their parents asked about their day, Lila talked about her plans to visit the park again. Their mother listened carefully and nodded with a proud smile. "That's very kind of you, sweetheart," she said. But when Mia spoke, her tone carried a hint of jealousy. "Lila's trying to be some kind of saint now," she said lightly, though the words came out sharper than she meant. Their mother looked at her for a long moment. "Mia," she said calmly. Kindness isn't about being better than someone. It's about being true to yourself. Mia dropped her gaze, embarrassed, yet something inside her stirred again, that mix of pride and discomfort that only grows when you see someone doing what you wish you could. That night, while everyone slept, Mia lay awake. The glow from her music player blinked softly in the dark, its red light pulsing like a heartbeat. She put on her headphones, trying to drown her thoughts in songs. But nothing worked. Every melody reminded her of Lila's quiet smile and that little girl's teary eyes. She remembered the way Sia had hugged her sister, the way she'd looked at her like she was the only person in the world who cared. And for the first time, Mia wondered, what did that feel like? To be able to give someone joy that pure? To be seen not for what you had, but for what you gave? Mia turned on her side, restless. Her hand brushed against a music player, and a sudden thought crossed her mind. What if she gave it away? The idea startled her. She shook her head quickly, almost laughing at herself. No way, she whispered. This is mine. But even as she said it, the word mine felt smaller than it used to. The next morning, Lila found Mia sitting silently at the breakfast table. She wasn't wearing her headphones, wasn't humming, wasn't showing off her music player like before. Instead, she was lost in thought, stirring her cereal absent-mindedly. Are you okay? Lila asked. Mia looked up, forcing a smile. Yeah, I'm fine. But inside, she wasn't fine at all. Something was shifting in her heart, something that scared her, something that felt too real to ignore. For the first time, Mia realized that her happiness depended too much on what she owned, not on what she felt. She had always chased attention, applause, and admiration. But Lila had found peace in silence. And that peace, that calm sense of purpose, was something Mia didn't have and desperately wanted to understand. That day, as they walked to school together, Mia looked at her sister differently. She didn't say anything, but there was a quiet respect in her eyes now. She still didn't fully understand Lila's way of seeing the world, but deep down, she felt its truth pulling at her. It was the first sign of a change, the quiet beginning of a journey that would test both of them in ways they couldn't yet imagine. Because sometimes, before we learn to give, we must first learn to let go, not of things, but of the pride that holds us back. And Mia was about to discover that lesson in the most unexpected way. The days that followed passed quietly, yet something invisible had changed between the two sisters. Lila continued her gentle routine, helping others, greeting neighbors with a soft smile, and spending her afternoons at the park, where she often looked for Sia. Mia watched all of this from the sidelines, pretending not to care, but her thoughts were no longer her own. Each time she saw Lila helping someone, something inside her stayed, a strange mix of admiration, discomfort, and longing she couldn't name. One afternoon, as the golden light of sunset touched the streets, Lila came home with a small brown paper bag in her hands. Her cheeks were flushed from the cool air, and her eyes sparkled with quiet excitement. Mia, sitting on the couch scrolling through her phone, looked up briefly. "Where have you been?" she asked casually. "At the park," Lila said. "I found Sia again. She was trying to sell flowers to people, but no one was buying. So I helped her make little paper signs and ribbons to decorate them. She sold everything." Mia raised an eyebrow. "You help her sell flowers? That's kinda weird." Lila smiled. "It made her happy. That's all that matters." Mia didn't reply, but her heart tightened in her chest. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about the little girl selling flowers, and about how her sister seemed to carry happiness wherever she went. Lila didn't just give things away. She gave moments, smiles, hope. The next morning, Mia woke up to an unusual silence. The music player that usually played her favorite song sat on her bedside table, untouched. She stared at it for a while, thinking about what it really gave her. Music filled her ears, but never her heart. For the first time, she wondered what it would feel like to make someone else's heart sing instead. That afternoon, while walking home from school, she saw something that stopped her. Near the park gate, a few kids were teasing Sia. They were mocking her torn clothes, snatching her flowers, and laughing as they threw petals into the mud. Mia froze for a second, unsure what to do. Her instinct told her to walk away. It wasn't her problem. But another voice, quieter yet stronger, whispered from somewhere deep inside. Do something. She clenched her fists and marched forward. Stop it, she shouted. Her voice surprised even herself. The boys turned to her, startled. What's your problem? One of them said. Leave her alone, Mia snapped. She's not bothering anyone. The boys scoffed and walked away, muttering under their breath. When they were gone, Mia knelt down beside Sia. The little girl was crying softly, her hands clutching the crushed flowers. Hey, Mia said gently, don't cry. You didn't do anything wrong. Sia looked up at her, eyes red but full of recognition. You're Lila's sister, she said in a shaky voice. Mia smiled faintly. Yeah, I am. Sia sniffled. Your sister is really nice. She said people can be kind even if they don't have much. For the first time in her life, Mia didn't know what to say. She reached into her bag and found her lunchbox, still half full. She opened it and offered it to Sia. Hey, she said quietly, you can have this. Sia's eyes widened. Really? Mia nodded. Really? As Sia began eating, Mia sat beside her silently. The world around them blurred, just two souls sharing a simple moment under the open sky. For the first time, Mia felt something shift within her, something heavy beginning to lift. Later, when she got home, Lila was waiting by the door. You were gone for a while, she said with a curious smile. Where were you? Mia hesitated, then smiled back. Just at the park, she said softly, talking to Sia. Lila's eyes lit up, but she didn't ask more. She just nodded, her smile growing warmer. That's nice, she said. She likes you, you know. Mia looked down, her cheeks flushing. Yeah, maybe, she murmured. But inside, she felt something new, a quiet peace she hadn't known before. That night, while lying in bed, Mia stared at the ceiling and thought about everything that had happened. She realized that giving wasn't just about losing something. It was about gaining something invisible, something that fills a heart in ways no possession ever could. And as she closed her eyes, a single thought echoed in her mind. Maybe true happiness isn't what you hold. It's what you let someone else feel. The week passed in quiet harmony, and for the first time in years, the twins felt closer than ever. The invisible wall between them had begun to fade, replaced by soft laughter, shared smiles, and long evening walks home together. Lila noticed it. The light in Mia's eyes had changed. It was softer now, calmer, like she'd finally found something her heart had been searching for all along. But life, as it often does, brings lessons not in comfort but in challenge. And that challenge came one cold evening when the sky turned gray and the first drops of rain began to fall. The wind howled through the narrow streets, carrying the smell of wet earth and the chill of something unexpected. Mia and Lila were walking back from the grocery store, sharing an umbrella, their laughter echoing between the houses. Suddenly, Lila stopped mid-step. Wait, she said, her voice tightening. Look over there. Across the street, under a heartbroken bus stop, sat a small figure curled up in the rain. It was Sia, her tiny body shivering, clutching a thin blanket soaked through. The sight froze both sisters in place. Without thinking, Lila rushed toward her, rain splashing around her feet. Mia followed close behind, her heart pounding. Sia. Lila called, kneeling beside her. The little girl looked up, her lips trembling. I was trying to find a place to stay, she whispered, but everywhere was closed. Lila's eyes filled with worry. She took off her own jacket and wrapped it around the child. You will catch a cold out here, she said softly. Come home with us for tonight. Mia hesitated for a moment. The thought of bringing a homeless child home made her nervous. What would their parents say? What if it caused trouble? But when she looked at Sia's frightened face, all her doubts melted away. Yes, she said quietly. Let's take her home. That short sentence marked the beginning of something extraordinary. They arrived home drenched and shivering. Their mother opened the door, alarmed at the sight of them. What happened? She asked. Lila spoke quickly, explaining how they found Sia in the rain. Their mother looked at the little girl, then at her daughters, and her expression softened. Bring her inside, she said gently. Let's get her warm. Mia fetched a towel and helped Sia dry off while Lila prepared some warm soup. It was a simple moment, Yet it held something profound. The two sisters, once divided by pride, now united in compassion. The room glowed with quiet warmth, the sound of rain outside blending with a gentle clink of spoons against bowls. Later that night, as Sia slept peacefully on the couch, Lila and Mia sat side by side in silence. The air between them felt different. No tension, no competition, just understanding. "You did the right thing," Lila said softly. "You didn't hesitate this time." Mia smiled faintly. "I didn't have to think," she admitted. "It just felt right." Lila leaned her head on her sister's shoulder. "That's what kindness becomes when it's real. It stops being a choice and becomes part of who you are." Mia closed her eyes, letting the words sink in. For the first time, she realized how far she had come. Just a few weeks ago, she would have walked past without a glance. But now, she couldn't ignore someone's pain. It wasn't because she wanted to impress anyone. It was because her heart finally understood what giving meant. The storm outside raged through the night, but inside, there was only peace. It was as if the house itself had grown warmer, lit not by lamps but by the quiet glow of empathy. The next morning, when sunlight peeked through the clouds, it felt like a new beginning. Sia woke up smiling. "I thought I was dreaming," she said softly. "No one's ever helped me like this before." Mia smiled back. "You're safe now." Their mother came over and placed a gentle hand on both twin shoulders. "You girls made me proud," she said, her voice full of warmth. "It's not what we have that defines us. It's what we share." Lila glanced at Mia, and they exchanged a look that needed no words. They both understood that their bond, once built on rivalry, had now transformed into something stronger, unity through kindness. That evening, after Sia had eaten and rested, Lila found her bracelet, the same silver one she had given away, lying on the kitchen table. "Where did this come from?" she asked, puzzled. Sia smiled shyly. "I found it again near the park. I wanted to give it back to you." Lila shook her head gently. "No, Sia, it's still yours." But Mia spoke up softly. "How about we keep it here, in our home, as a reminder?" Lila nodded slowly, a reminder that kindness always finds its way back. As the day faded into dusk, the twins stood by the window watching the last drops of rain glisten on the street. They didn't know what the future would bring, but one thing was certain. They were no longer just sisters by birth. They were sisters by heart. Because sometimes a simple act of compassion doesn't just change one life, it changes everyone it touches. The sun rose gently the next morning, painting the town in shades of gold and rose. The air smelled fresh after the long storm, the kind of morning that feels like a quiet promise. Inside the twins' home, laughter echoed from the kitchen as Sia helped their mother prepare breakfast. The little girl's smile was brighter than ever, her eyes filled with a warmth that came not from comfort, but from belonging. Lila and Mia stood by the doorway, watching silently. "She's changed the energy of the house," Lila whispered, smiling softly. Mia nodded. "Or maybe she's just reminded us what real happiness feels like." The morning light fell across their faces, gentle, pure, and full of hope. Later that day, Sia sat by the window drawing in an old sketchbook. She had drawn a picture of 3 girls holding hands, one with a pink ribbon, one with a blue one, and a smaller one in the middle with both colors blending together. "That's us," she said proudly, showing the drawing to the twins. "We're family now." Those words hit deeper than either sister expected. For years, Mia and Lila had defined their relationship through comparison. Who was smarter, prettier, kinder? But now, in Sia's innocent drawing, they saw something pure. Not competition, not division, just connection. Their mother framed the drawing and hung it in the living room. "Some pictures," she said, smiling, "remind us of the things we must never forget." Over the next few weeks, Sia began to change in ways that surprised everyone. Her laughter grew stronger, her confidence bloomed, and her eyes sparkled with dreams. She began to go to school with Mia and Lila, holding their hands tightly each morning. What once started as an act of kindness had become a journey of healing, not just for Sia, but for the twins themselves. Mia, once proud and distant, now found joy in simple things: walking Sia to class, sharing lunch, listening to her stories. Lila, who had always given love freely, now learned that giving sometimes meant letting others give back. One afternoon, as they walked home, Sia stopped by a little shop window. Inside, there was a small gift box wrapped in bright paper. "Can I see that one?" she asked softly. The shopkeeper handed it over. Inside was a tiny silver pendant in the shape of a heart. Sia looked at it for a long time, then smiled. "I want to buy this," she said. "It's a thank you gift for both of you." Mia and Lila tried to protest, but Sia insisted. "Please," she said, her voice full of emotion. "You gave me a home, a family in love. Let me give something too." They finally accepted it. When they opened the little box at home, they found not one but two tiny pendants, two halves of a single heart, engraved with the words, "Kindness lives forever." Mia's eyes filled with tears. "How did you find this?" she whispered. Sia smiled softly. "It just felt right. Maybe it was meant to be." That night, as the stars shimmered outside, the twins sat together on the porch. Sia was asleep inside, her small hand clutching the old silver bracelet that had started it all. Lila turned to her sister. "Do you realize how one small choice changed everything?" she said quietly. Mia nodded. "You gave away your birthday gift, and somehow it gave us all something bigger." Lila smiled. "It gave us purpose." There was a moment of silence, the kind that feels sacred. Then Mia said softly, "Maybe true happiness isn't about what we get or what we give, but what we grow together." The moonlight touched their faces gently as the night breeze carried the faint sound of Sia's peaceful breathing. The world felt still, as if even time had paused to listen. And in that silence, something eternal was born, the understanding that kindness doesn't end with one act. It ripples, reaching hearts we may never know, changing lives we never expected. Because when one heart opens, others follow. And sometimes the gift you give away becomes a gift that returns to you, brighter, deeper, and infinite,